Hey everyone, welcome to the Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Tuesday. It is May 27, 2025. 11 MLB games to talk about here on today's podcast. We have some pitching. We have some hitting. Should be a fun one to kind of break down and go through here. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope everyone enjoyed some family time, maybe on Memorial Day. Recording this on Memorial Day. But yeah, I mean, Memorial Day, very important day. And it's definitely something that, we need to, as Americans, most of my listeners are from the United States, but honor the men and women who have died serving for the country. And yeah, I mean, huge day. I have multiple family members that have been in the military. So yeah. Hope everyone had a good day, maybe barbecuing, hanging out. But remember that it's definitely for honoring, men and women who have died for our country. Racing was good. Yeah, Coke 600. I think the racing was awesome. I thought that Amazon did an excellent job with the broadcast. I'm actually excited to see how Nashville goes with the broadcast. I think they did absolutely incredible with the broadcast. So I'm very excited for that aspect. So love the post race. I thought Ross winning was really cool. Obviously I thought he was really cool. I had a 40-1 live bet on him that I bet at lap 150 or something like that. And I was super pumped about that. Him and Carson Hocevar had so much speed going through the field that I was so pumped to get them both live. But we're back to talk some baseball. Took Monday off baseball, just betting and everything, just in general. Enjoyed some time with the family, hung out, grilling out some burgers and doing the pool thing. So ready to get back into it, get back into the swing of things, and talk some baseball. So we get started here. Minnesota at Tampa. 8 total in this game. Minnesota 125 favorite. Got Joe Ryan going up against Taj Bradley. In this one, it is that time of the year now with these games in Tampa that you definitely got to be paying attention to the weather. I live in Florida. It rains every day this time of the year. So these games in Tampa are going to be sketchy all the time now as somebody that's from this area. So we'll start here with Joe Ryan. His strikeout rate has been awesome this season, 31.5%. Strikes out right-handed hitters a lot higher than left-handed, 39 against righties, 21 against lefties. His swinging strike rate, his whiff rate, his chase rate, all of that support his strikeout rate. It should come down. 39% is probably a little too high. I think it probably ends the season closer to 30 to 32% against righties. The problem that he has here is he still has to face a few lefties, but I don't think it's enough lefties. So if the weather is good for Joe Ryan today, I really like his upside and his strikeout ability against this Tampa lineup that really Simpson is the only right-handed or left-handed bat in this lineup with a strikeout rate under 20%. Everybody else in this lineup has a strikeout rate over 20% on a daily average. So like this spot a lot for Joe Ryan. I think that there's a lot of strikeout upside in this matchup, and hate the ballpark, watch the weather, all that fun stuff. But if we got a thumbs up here, then I think it's a thumbs up for him to go weather-wise. We got to check the weather, obviously. Derek Yeezy, Carolina guy. DJ, Brent. I think I said Derek already. What's up, everyone? Hope you're having a great Monday night here. I live in the Daytona area of Florida now. So Taj Bradley on the other side of this one. The Minnesota lineup, they don't strike out a ton. They don't have necessarily a ton of power in this lineup, but they don't strike out a ton. Taj Bradley's been a below average strikeout pitcher this season. His command has kind of been all over the place. He still has a little bit of upside. He pitched well last time out against Houston. I don't love the spot. I don't like the strikeout. Like, I think there's like very little strikeout ceiling in this matchup for him. I do expect Taj Bradley to continue to get better throughout the year. I think he has better stuff than what's showing, but some of his numbers definitely suggest there's regression on some of his stuff, and positive regression potentially coming on some strikeout numbers for him, because he still does have a pretty decent whiff rate and pretty high swinging strike rate, especially against right-handed hitters. Probably one of the reasons that he pitched well against Houston last time out. Don't necessarily love this spot though. There's such a low strikeout team in general. So that's my biggest thing, and the ballpark too. And looking at the bats for Minnesota, I have interest in Larnach here at 4K. I think this is a really good price tag for him. Clemens, second base. He's shown a little bit of power to start the season, so I don't mind maybe taking some shots on him at 3,500. Prefer lefties against Bradley, even though his numbers are a little bit worse against righties this year. But again, I think that as we keep going here throughout the season, we will see him be better against righties and struggle a little bit more against lefties. Correa has really struggled righty-righty. He's been really good lefty-righty, but he's struggled righty-righty this year. So I don't think I'd stack Minnesota. I think I'd just be looking at some Minnesota cheap lefties if I was going to play Minnesota bats, but watch the weather in this one. As far as the Tampa bats, I mean, I don't have a ton of interest against Joe Ryan. I mean, if you are picking on Joe Ryan, it's typically like left-handed power. So Brandon Lau, Jonathan Arnanda would be the two that I'd potentially take some shots on here. Simpson, just his speed alone, you can always take shots on him if he's hitting leadoff, but the sites have kind of caught up on Simpson's price. He's 4K. So I don't necessarily hate that, but Brandon Lau at 30 or at 4,100, he has plenty of upside. He's been hitting the ball a lot better here, back closer to what he was at the beginning of the season. So you could take a shot there, but personally, I prefer Ryan. I will say Joe Ryan is more of a fly ball guy. So maybe a guy like Arnanda benefits. You know, Arnanda is more of a ground ball hitter so far this year, especially against right-handed pitching. So maybe you take advantage of that, chase a home run or two against Ryan, because he even though he strikes out a ton of hitters, he does tend to give up home runs. So you could chase a home run or two with Tampa. White Sox, Mets, 8 total in this game. Mets a huge favorite here at minus 265. Shane Smith going up against Taylor McGill. We'll start here with Shane Smith. I mean, Shane Smith has been, or I guess, Cannon now. Okay, so when I did the research earlier today, it was Shane Smith, but now it looks like Jonathan Cannon is going to start this game. So I'm making a note on my sheet because that makes me like the Mets a lot more. Jonathan Cannon is not very good. He gives up a lot of hard contact. He has very little strikeout upside. His strikeout rate's around 17% against a team that doesn't strike out a ton. So I mean, I think there could have potentially been an argument for Shane Smith, but I don't think there's any argument for Jonathan Cannon in this game. So kind of out on him. Taylor McGill on the other side of this game. I like his strikeout upside. I've talked about it a bunch of times this year. He has plenty of strikeout ability, sitting around 29% this year. I mean, Benintendi's back in the lineup, but still the lineup overall is pretty weak. They have very little power, so they can BABIP teams sometimes. But in this ballpark, McGill, if he could pitch well enough, he has so much strikeout upside here against this White Sox team. So definitely think Taylor McGill is in the player pool today. I like the upside, and I think if he could just maybe finish the fifth and like maybe push into the sixth one of these starts would be great, but definitely prefer him on DraftKings, where it's going to reward the strikeouts more than like the quality start over there on FanDuel. As far as the White Sox bats, they don't have a lot of power. That's the biggest problem with playing the White Sox. McGill has done a great job limiting barrels and power to lefties, and the hitter I want to play in this lineup is Benintendi. So outside of maybe Vargas, I don't really think that the White Sox are worth looking at today. The Mets, though, now that like Cannon's going to start this game, the Mets become much more interesting. I don't think they're like a full stack just because of the ballpark, but Beatty, Soto, Alonso, Nimmo, Lindor, all in play. I mentioned Beatty first there. I know I kind of went backwards, but he's still only 3K. He should be in the lineup here. He's been hitting. He has upside ever since they recalled him. He's trying to keep a spot in this lineup, basically. So I like Beatty. Who's the other one? If Jared Young is in the lineup, I think you could potentially take some shots on Jared Young at 2,200. He just doesn't have a ton of power, so you're definitely leaving a little power upside on the board. But Jonathan Cannon is not great, and he's really cheap, so I wouldn't mind potentially taking some shots on him. Outside of that, I mean, you could. I definitely think you could take like 3-man stacks of this team more than anything else. But I wouldn't hate them in like a 4-4 type of situation. Cincinnati at Kansas City, 8.5 total in this game. It's a pick'em game. We got Brady Singer going up against Daniel Lynch in this one. Starting with Singer here, like Brady Singer is interesting because like it all depends on the lineup he's facing. If he's facing right-handed heavy teams, he typically can pitch well enough. When Brady Singer really struggles, is like a lot of left-handed power in the lineup. He's really struggling with lefties this year. This team is very right-handed heavy. I don't think I want to take shots on Brady Singer, but I might like pump the brakes a little bit on playing Kansas City in this game. I like Pasquantino, and we'll talk about him when we get over there, but I think this is a spot where it's like Singer could limit the damage enough where you don't necessarily want to like stack against him, but you probably don't want to play a lot of him. You really like him against right-handed heavy teams, but this team doesn't strike out. That's my biggest issue with Kansas City is like it's really hard to play pitchers against them because they don't strike out. Anyone or Daniel Lynch on the other side of this game. So Lynch, it looks like it's going to be an opener type situation for Lynch. I don't know if it'd be like a full bullpen game. We're going to have to kind of decide, or we'll have to kind of pay attention to what they're going to say. But Lynch is not going to pitch deep here. I think he would max out around like 40 pitches at most. So it makes it tough situation on both sides. Like you don't want to play the pitching side of, like the Kansas City pitching side, but Kansas City's bullpen has been really good this year. I mean, they're a top 5 bullpen in a lot of statistics this year. So it might be a spot where you don't necessarily want to play a lot of the Reds either. I think that's kind of where I'm at. Like, unless we get a long reliever, like announced here, if we're going to get like 1 to 3 innings out of bullpen arms, like this bullpen's good. If they can get to like the 6 and like bring in those 3 late guys, like it's just not a spot I necessarily like either side of. So right now I'm on like, unless we get a long reliever announced, I don't love the Reds bats here, and I don't like the pitching situation for Kansas City. If they do announce a long reliever, maybe that's where the bats would become a little bit more interesting, but we'd have to kind of see, because really outside of like Hayes and maybe Stevenson, like you don't have a lot of like lefties that are good against lefties here. So De La Cruz, obviously way better when he hits from the left side of the plate than when he hits from the right side of the plate so far this year. So Kansas City side, I like Pasquantino a lot in this spot. Brady Singer, like I mentioned, he really struggles with left-handed power. He is the left-handed power in this lineup. So I like Pasquantino, 3,400 is an awesome price tag on him. I could see myself maybe taking some shots on like a Drew Waters type of play, Isabel type of play, Massey type of play. Taking a couple of these cheap bats, probably not stacking them, just more looking for some left-handed one-offs here. My Red Sox heading to Milwaukee to take on the Brewers, 8.5 total in this game. Milwaukee a 120 favorite. Cooper Criswell against Aaron Savali in this one. Criswell, I mean, this is another one of those situations where they let him go back down to AAA to get stretched out. I mean, it's going to be like a spot where he's going to likely pitch long enough, but he's not a strikeout guy. He's hittable for sure. He's really cheap, but I don't think you want to play him here. I think this is an avoid spot for me, even though like the bottom half of the Milwaukee lineup right now is kind of shaky, but I don't think this is a spot you want to push it. Aaron Savali on the other side of this one, I mean, he has shown in the past that he has a little bit of strikeout upside. We've only seen him two starts this year. He started against the Yankees, then had a hamstring injury, came back against Pittsburgh, and he really struggled in both of those outings. So from what we've seen so far this year is like, this could be a spot we could potentially take some shots against Savali. I don't want to play Savali in this matchup. I do like the Red Sox stack on the road against Savali here. So I'll play some Duran, some Devers. Navarez, I think, is in play. Abreu, always like the lefty matchup with Abreu. Outside of that, I mean, Marcelo, I assume that he would have a good lineup spot here with Bregman out. So I assume he hits like 5th or 6th. He's still 3,200. I mean, this is a huge prospect, obviously, with the Red Sox and all of baseball just in general. I wish, like, now that they've called up Marcelo Mayer, I wish they would just call up Roman Anthony too, and let's just go young and see what happens. Like, I mean, the Red Sox have 2 of the top 10 baseball prospects in all of baseball with these 2 guys. So I'm really excited for Roman Anthony to get called up too. But Marcelo Mayer, like, he has plenty of upside at 3,200 in this matchup. The only problem with him is like you're leaving Devers off of your stacks on DraftKings if you're playing Marcelo. Don't hate it. Wouldn't do it on every Boston stack, but I definitely think that's a way to make your Boston stacks a little different today. Other side, like Criswell's not good. He struggles with command from time to time. So I don't mind a Milwaukee stack in this spot. Obviously, Churio, Yelich. If Bowers is in there, I don't mind him. Frelick. But I think this is a game that is going to have some runs scored. And I don't think we have a ton of high-scoring games on this slate, just in general. And I think this game has some potential to be one of those higher-scoring games today. Up next, we got the Rockies and the Cubs. Anytime that we see a 8 total in Chicago, likely going to have some wind. The Cubs are a 325 favorite. Herman Marquez, Cade Horton. I checked before the show. There's potential weather in this game, but we're supposed to have like 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing from left field in. So we'll see what the weather report kind of looks like closer throughout the day. But right now, it looks like a really good spot for pitchers. But problem is, like, Herman Marquez is not good. He doesn't miss bats. At one point of his career, like, we probably would have taken some shots on him in this spot, but not the case anymore. He's sitting around 11% strikeout rate. His WOBA is through the roof. His ex-WOBA is through the roof. He's gotten a little unlucky on the BABIP department, but, I mean, he's really struggled this year. So the other side, Cade Horton, like, if we get good. Like if we get a thumbs up on weather in this game, I think Cade Horton is very playable today. I mean, I talked about this guy. I think it was last time out. Big prospect for the Cubs. One of the biggest prospects. He has a very good slider. Should benefit him in a matchup against a team that strikes out a lot here, like the Rockies. So if the weather is good, I think you could take some shots here on Horton, and he should benefit from the good old-fashioned Wrigley wins here. Don't like the Rockies bats. If I was going to play anybody, McMahon and Beck, maybe Tofar, but that's really it. I like the Cubs. I don't think I necessarily like a full stack of the Cubs today because the wind, like 15 miles an hour at Wrigley, is definitely going to make a close home run warning track power. So I think it'd be more of like a mini stack, but like Pete Carl Armstrong has so much upside with his stolen base upside. So I like PCA. I like Tucker. Suzuki has been awesome. Hap. Like, I still want to have a little bit of exposure because I don't trust in Herman Marquez at all to go out there and miss bats in this one. Check the weather. The weather is going to be a big factor in this game, it looks like. Toronto at Texas, 7.5 total in this game. Bowden Francis against Nathan Eovaldi. Talk about Bowden Francis all the time. Bowden Francis, when he struggles, it is always left-handed hitters. They don't have a lot of left-handed hitters in this lineup. They have Haggerty, they have Smith, Jonah Heim or Jock Peterson. With Seager out of this lineup right now, I know that they did say that like Seager has a chance. I forgot that Jock Peterson just went on the IL. So there is a chance, and like Carter's on the IL. That was the other lefty I was thinking of. But there's a chance that Seager plays. If Seager plays, I don't like Bowden Francis as much. I don't want to say that I like Bowden Francis in this spot. I like the price point and the potential of all the righties he's going to face in this lineup. But overall, he's had really low strikeouts, and even this year, he's struggled a lot more with righties than he did last year. He's gotten a little unlucky. His numbers definitely suggest there's some positive regression coming against righties. On the other side, Nathan Eovaldi, I feel like I can't get this guy right this year. I've really struggled to get this guy right. Like, I want to play Eovaldi in this spot. I hate the low strikeouts in this matchup, but I mean, he's so good against righties, and there's so many righties in this lineup. I mean, they have a couple more lefties than they have with the addition of like Lukes and Barger, but I still think this is a matchup Eovaldi can win. So I have interest in Eovaldi. As far as the Toronto bats, Eovaldi's done such a good job this year generating ground balls and limiting damage. I think he's only allowed 4 home runs on the entire year, and he's only had a few starts. At one start with over 2 earned runs. So he's only had one game where he's had over 2 earned runs. So he had one game with 3 earned runs. So he's been very good all year. I mean, I don't love the Toronto bats here. That's why I have interest in Eovaldi. I mean, I want to play Texas, but if you're with me and you've been playing Texas this year, they are by far one of the most tilting teams in baseball. If they get Seager back, it helps a ton. Makes a huge upgrade to this lineup, just in general. The problem is after that, it's just so ugly. They called Blaine Crim up. He's righty though, so I don't necessarily love that. The one that I like here is Ozuna, Alejandro Ozuna. He's someone that I think probably plays here against the right-handed pitcher, and I think that he has some upside. He grades out as like a 50-50 guy, like raw power, but has speed as well. So I like his upside. He is 2,500. I think he's like 5th or 6th in the prospects for Texas, if I remember correctly. But he's one that I definitely think you want to have some exposure to here against Francis. Outside of that, I mean, he is really cheap though too. That makes it really nice to potentially take some shots on him. All right, moving on. We got the Athletics at the Astros, 7.5 total in this game. JP Sears against Hunter Brown. Houston, a huge favorite. 205? Yeah. 205 favorite here. We'll start with JP Sears. So, like, Sears is going to face a very right-handed heavy lineup here, which he has a little bit more upside against lefties. Texas against left-handed pitching this season, they've really struggled, but they still don't strike out a ton. It's so odd. They have a lineup full of right-handed hitters, and they're still they still struggle against left-handed pitching. Like, I don't know. Figure that one out. They can't even do the platoon game right, but I mean, they are okay. They're okay. They're okay. They're just not great. They don't have a lot of power. They struggle in the power department. So I don't want to play JP Sears in this one. I think that there's better options just in general in this price range. Hunter Brown, I want to play him. 32.2% Ks this year, 26% whiff rate. Getting an Athletics team that has plenty of strikeouts in the lineup, just in general. So I like this spot overall for Brown. I think he's going to be pretty popular. Kurtz, who's starting to finally hit home runs, he was banged up and he didn't play on Sunday, I think. So yeah, I definitely prefer Brown as a top end starter. For the price, Joe Ryan is really interesting to me if the weather is okay in Tampa as a pivot off of Brown. But I think Brown, one of the safer options that we have at pitcher today. I don't really have any interest here in the Athletics bats. If I was going to play them, it'd be like Soderstrom, Butler, Rooker. Jacob Wilson has been awesome this year. Houston, like, I want to play them. I do. Paredes, I think, is in play. I like Cam Smith, the young kid, under 3K here. He's been hitting. If he draws a good lineup spot, he's showing some power against left-handed pitching this year. So look for Cam Smith to move up in the lineup here. That'd be awesome. But Paredes, Pena, Altuve has really struggled against lefties this year, but throughout his career has been good against lefties. So Altuve is like under 4K now. And he's been hitting better recently too. Houston definitely as a team has been hitting a little bit better recently. So I don't mind some Houston bats in this one. I think they're okay. Yankees at LA taking on the Angels, 9 total in this game. Yankees a 185 favorite. I mean, looking at this matchup for Carlos Rodon, you're like, they have a lot of righties. Thing is, Carlos Rodon has plenty of strikeout upside, and this team struggles with left-handed pitching. I've talked about this all year. It's another one of those situations where it's kind of weird because they have all these right-handed bats, but they've struggled with left-handed pitching all year. It doesn't make a lot of sense. They should. I mean, they have one of the highest. I think they have the second or third highest strikeout rate against left-handed pitching this year. So they strike out a ton. I think we chased a little bit of upside here with Rodon. On the other side, Tyler Anderson is pitching for the Angels here, and Tyler Anderson, slightly below average strikeout pitcher, kind of a fly ball guy, and I mean that's just not what you want to be against this team, just in general. They have so much power. Like guys like Volpe benefit from a fly ball because he's a big ground ball hitter. I don't want to play Tyler Anderson in this spot. I think there's spots you can pick and choose to get your 20 points out of him. I just don't think today is one of those spots. As far as the bats, I mean, I like Judge a lot. I like Volpe, like I said. He benefits from the ground ball or the fly ball pitcher. And guys like Goldschmidt, DJ LeMahieu, like all these guys are in play. I like Goldschmidt. I like Volpe. I like Judge, but I like the Yankee stack. I'm going to definitely have some Yankee stacks out there. As far as the Angels, like, they just struggle with left-handed pitching. I mean, Zach Nato and Taylor Ward would be the two bats I'd be looking at here, like chasing a home run. I mean, I will say that I have been playing a ton of Ward. He is just knocking the cover off the baseball over the last 2 weeks. His last 10 games, he has 5 home runs. He's hitting almost 400. Like, he's just been on a tear. Still prefer Rodon over the bats. Pittsburgh at Arizona, 9 total in this game. Arizona 258 favorite. Mike Burrows going up against Corbin Burns. Yeah, I mean, Burrows was okay in his debut. Last time out, he didn't miss a lot of bats. So that's always the first thing that I look at when a pitcher makes their debut. Did they miss bats? He didn't miss a lot of bats. I talked about this a couple times. Like, they have like big prospects just in general. And like, Burrows is not a huge prospect. He doesn't grade out as a huge prospect. He has upside. Like, I mean, if he gets back from Tommy John, he has upside, but like his command wasn't great in that start against Milwaukee. So facing one of the best teams in baseball against right-handed pitching, I think this is a stay away spot for Burrows. Corbin Burns on the other side of this game. I like Burns quite a bit today. I like the price tag. I like the matchup a lot. You know, anytime you're getting a Pittsburgh matchup, you like it because Pittsburgh has just been, they've been so bad. So I like Burns. I think this is a great spot for him. He's been pitching really good here recently, coming off of a great start against the Dodgers. I love this spot for him against Pittsburgh. He's going to be really chalky today. His price is just too low. No interest in the Pittsburgh bats outside of maybe O'Neal Cruz. O'Neal Cruz is just really good at baseball, and I don't think people realize just how good O'Neal Cruz is at baseball. But I prefer Burns. If you're not playing a Burns team, you want to one-off Cruz, sure. But the problem with like Cruz, price-wise, is like Cruz is in that like Judge, Carroll type of range. So I just don't see how much Cruz I would get to today. Arizona on the other side, my favorite stack on the slate today. I think that they are the stack you want to get a lot of exposure to in tournaments, in cash, whatever you play. I love this spot. Like I said, he didn't really miss bats in his first outing, and that's important. You got to miss bats in the majors. If you don't, you're going to struggle. But Arizona, top 3 team in almost every statistic against right-handed pitching this season. They lead the league in ISO against right-handed pitching. So love this spot for them. Marte, Carroll, Suarez, Gurriel, Naylor, Tim Tawa has been great this year. Like, I mean, there's no one I'm really going to say no to outside of maybe like the catcher position, but like I don't hate throwing my catcher into my stacks, especially when they're cheap. So Arizona, my favorite stack on the slate today. Yeah, I think it's just a really good spot for them. Miami at San Diego. 7.5 total in this one. San Diego, a 180 favorite. We got Max Meyer going up against Steven Kolek, I think is how they pronounce his name, Kolek. We'll start here with Meyer. I mean, when Meyer is pitching well, his upside is massive against anybody. Like, this guy is just really good at throwing baseballs. San Diego's a very low strikeout team, so it's really hard to get excited about playing them. So, I mean, I don't necessarily love this spot. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I like his overall upside. When he has those games that he just goes out and like dominates, he is just so unhittable. When he goes out and he struggles with walks and is struggling with command, he's capable of big games. I don't know if this is the spot he's capable of a big game with the low strikeouts of this lineup, but he's always fringy for me. Other side of this one, Kolek, like, he's done an awesome job of generating ground balls this year in his 4 starts. He had an awesome start against Colorado earlier this year. I mean, he has upside in this matchup. He's not like this dominating pitcher that's going to go out and throw the ball by everybody. Miami is that pesky team that can like somewhat drive you crazy. So I think he's definitely playable in this one, especially if you get some weather in some of those early games and you have to pivot a little bit. That's where it would become a little bit more interesting for me. Miami bats. Again, ground ball pitcher does a really good job so far of limiting power. Stowers would be the guy. He's a fly ball hitter. Mervis is a fly ball hitter. Both of those guys strike out a ton, so you're just chasing the home run with both of those guys. As far as the San Diego bats go, Meyer is not one that I like would stack against. I mean, you could play a Tatis or Merrill against anybody, but for the pricing of San Diego with the stacks that we have on this, like, with the pricing that we have on San Diego, if you're not watching live, I'm dying. I'm sorry. Awesome. Time to have to cough. Pricing on San Diego, I think that we have better options upside wise overall. I have like a tickle in my throat. It's driving me crazy. I will say, if Meyer does struggle with command, Miami still has one of the worst bullpens in baseball, and I like attacking that stuff. I talk about it all the time. It's one thing that I really like to attack is just bullpens that struggle, and I think that Miami has a bullpen that struggles. But I just don't see a lot of upside here from San Diego. We finish it out. Washington at Seattle, 8 total in this one. Seattle a 144 favorite. We got Logan Evans going up against Mitchell Parker. Starting here with Parker. Parker's strikeouts have just kind of dropped off. Like, at the beginning of the season, I was like, is this guy going to be a 4 to 6 strikeout guy? And it looks like that is possible. But they've really kind of like dipped down. There's a lot of strikeouts in this lineup. Seattle strikes out a lot against left-handed pitching. One of the highest strikeout rates in baseball against left-handed pitching. They also have a lot of power at the top half. I don't see him going out and putting up enough like to make it worth it. And he's really struggled recently. They've been very quick to yank him recently, so I think I'm out on Parker. Other side of this one, Evans. Evans is such a low, like, he's such a below average strikeout pitcher. that it's really hard to get excited about playing him. Last time out, you definitely worked out. Like, you gave up some home runs. I think he gave up 2 or 3 home runs, and then just really struggled. But he had plenty of strikeout upside in that game. So I don't like this spot. As far as the Washington bats, I like Wood. I like Abrams in this one. Low, if you want to go like a 3-man and find that like cheap third person, I think Washington is definitely worth looking at as a mini stack here. And then on the other side, like the Seattle side of this game too, I think they're worth looking at. Like Moore, Riley, Julio, Rosarina, like they're all so good against left-handed pitching. And we don't get Washington on the slates a lot, but their bullpen is right up there with the Angels. Their bullpen is really bad too. So it's definitely worth looking at like Seattle stacks. And if you can get Parker, who they yank early from time to time, out of this game fast, the stack just works out. So Moore, Riley, Julio, Rosarina, Garver is someone that I definitely don't mind against left-handed pitching. He was awesome against lefties last year. So I like the Seattle team here. Definitely a stack that I'm looking at. That's it, man. I feel like we went through this games pretty quick, and it's already been 41 minutes. All right, morning grind game. If for some reason you haven't, make sure you go over to the Roto-Grinders. Not Roto-Grinders, just kidding. You go over to the YouTube for the morning grind. So youtube.com/@morninggrind and hit the subscribe button. So used to saying Roto-Grinders for so long that it just happens sometimes. It's going to happen. I love the RG crew. I still do a ton of work over there. But yes, morning grind is separate. So make sure you go over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 2,000 by the end of the month. And we're getting close. The month is getting close. We got to make a big push this week. Big push. All right. Morning grind game. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Always like this question. Because it always puts me in like a position where it's like, do I really like anybody in this range? And you look at these pitchers today and you're like, you don't really love anybody in this range to like go out and get the strikeouts. Like I have a lot of interest in 8K, 9K pitchers. Like almost all of them I think are playable today. But this range is rough. If I was just going to chase strikeouts, I'd almost say like Bowden Francis under to get 6 strikeouts. I don't think he does it greatly, but I think he has some strikeout upside in this matchup. So I think I'd pick him. I don't think I'd play him a lot in DFS if I was going to play him, unless you're making like 150 teams. But can you give me 2 pitchers you feel good about that will get 3 Ks? 3 strikeouts. I would take Joe Ryan and Carlos Rodon. Would be, I think both of those guys get 3 strikeouts. It's a weird question. I think that I read the question right. All right. Over 8K to score under 15. I like a lot of these pitchers today. Almost all of them. If I had to pick one, it'd probably be Max Meyer just because of the matchup against San Diego. I like all of them. My whole list is basically everybody on this list. I think all these pitchers have upside today. Over 4K to hit a home run. I hate going all the way to the top. Like Corbin Carroll would be my favorite, or Aaron Judge. Like those 2 guys would easily be my 2 favorite home run plays today. But let's go a little bit cheaper here and go Suarez, who has 14 home runs on the year. Hasn't had one recently. Hit really well over the weekend. So let's go Suarez. I feel like a home run's coming from him. Under 4K to get 10 plus points. I am going to go. I'm going to go with my guy. I got to go with my guy. Give me Marcelo Mayer at 3,200 here. Going up against Savali. I think he scores over 10 fantasy points. Stack to score 6 more runs. I said it. I absolutely love Arizona today. My favorite stack on the slate. I think this is a great spot for them and will likely be my highest owned stack. So, hope everyone has an awesome Tuesday. Back tomorrow talking baseball. Good luck, everyone. I will see you then.